Hello and welcome back to a very warm, it's like a heat wave is happening.
I don't know what's happening.
Something's happening, but it's hot. It's
hot.
Is
the end.
It's like a little bit of a nice little heat wave.
Yeah.
And the good news is I have a blanket on me. So
yeah. Well, that's because you have no pants on.
That's because I will not wear pants.
No, I did do a costume change. I was wearing I had like a nice outfit picked out for you guys, but I put it on and I was literally drenched in sweat within 2 minutes. Yeah. And these lights don't give off heat. So we are just...
You know, it does get off heat.
Yeah.
This house, baby. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I can just say welcome to Favorite Cheese. We're so excited to have you. Thank you again for listening. People keep saying lovely, nice things, and I love to hear it.
And people keep donating nice things. Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah. We had a
fun-filled weekend.
Well, Lee's was fun-filled. Mine was filled. It was intense.
Sounds more sexual than I think you.
I don't think it. It was not sexual.
Okay,
if you heard fun-filled and you're like, that's sexy.
Good for you.
Think about the opposite of that and be like, oh God.
Oh God.
Yeah. So that's what it was.
Love it.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about our crazy eventful weekends.
Oh look, so we had a weekend apart from each other
because we had to court order.
God, it's a nightmare. They say every 4 weekends they're like, just take some time for yourselves.
You just gotta take a walk.
You just gotta take a walk.
We both had some prior arrangements.
Yeah.
I was in a comedy festival in the desert, which we'll get into, and Lee was living
I lived my best life, and I went to the Ren Fair this weekend.
The Renaissance Fair.
Renaissance Fair. I can dive right in. You want me to dive right in?
Yeah, why not?
Why not, right? I was living my best life, and I went to the Ren Fair. I went with I have like an adventure friend, my BFF, Vern. Mm-hmm. And Vernie and I have, for years, we wanted to go to the Ren Fair. We're always like, we want to go. And I think like we do this a lot where we like have fun things that we want to go do, and we have like a little group of friends, and we're always the like convincers, you know. We're always like, we're gonna go do this, and it's gonna be great, and we're gonna do this, and everyone's like, okay, and they're kind of along for the ride.
Well, for me, I'll like jump in intermittently, but no, I will play. No, I wasn't gonna say that. Like I'll play. I'm normally down. But when you pitch the Ren Fair, I have my own history with the Ren Fair that we'll get into as you get into yours. So when you're like Ren Fair, I'm like, I'm good.
And we always like, every time I pitched it to the group of like Ren Fair, they're always like, okay. And Vern was like, yes, I'm ready. Let's do it. I want to do it. I want to do it for so long. I've wanted to do it. And then she was she was very down. We kept being like, I want to go. And we both realized we're like, I think it's just us. And that's okay because at least we're going to have the most fun together.
Sometimes it's okay.
Sometimes it's so okay because
sometimes a bigger group makes it worse.
Yeah. And then there's like, they have stuff they want to do. Someone gets heat stroke. Someone inevitably is not in the zone.
I remember exactly. Yeah. I remember one of the best things that ever happened to me was like last minute. I was supposed to go to Europe for like a long time. We're talking more than like 4 months.
Sure.
And the guy I was supposed to go with completely backed out. And I was like, what do you mean? Like day of. He's like, sorry, bro.
That's not okay.
Yeah, he's not my friend anymore. That's a big one. But anyways, I still decided to go.
Good for you.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm going. And when I was traveling alone, although lonely at times, that's when I learned like, oh, I can just do whatever I want.
It's
like,
so nice.
Yeah, there's no one like, we got to go here or we got to go. And so that's why with smaller people, like just you.
It really is kind of nice, especially because we both were so game and so down and so ready to do it. Yeah. And then we both are very like, we realized this too about ourselves. Like in that friend group in particular, there's like 8 of us. And Vern and I are always the ones that are like, what's the theme of like, whenever there's a party, we're like, oh, what's the theme? She went to Big Bear for like her birthday one year and we're like, oh, it's like a 70s, like, you know, like camp theme. And everyone's kind of like, all right. Like,
I mean, I'm always down.
I know you're always down to play, but like, we're always the ones that are like, we're big theme people. And then we realized we're like, oh, I think maybe we're the ones that are pushing the theme on everyone.
Well, the best part, I mean, you guys are good about it because they're not like lame themes. Like sometimes it's like, it's going to be whatever theme and then no one commits. Yeah. And that sucks. Like one time we went to our her friend was having an adult bat mitzvah when she turned 30, and she was trying to do like a 90s theme.
Yep.
And she's like, really dress up, you guys.
She's like, go for it.
And I showed up literally looking like that guy AJ from the Backstreet Boys.
No, you were Joey Fatone.
Oh, Joey Fatone.
You like fully Joey Fatone.
And it was like cringeworthy good. Like,
and I was like Gwen Stefani, cringeworthy good.
Yeah, it was
She was
great.
like, go for it, go hard.
And we showed up, and like someone had like a bracelet on, it was like
a glow bracelet, and like another person had like a Britney Spears shirt.
Yeah,
on,
and that was
like,
it. And
you guys suck.
And we walked in, and people were like, and some of them knew us, but we were so good. They're like, oh, and like the people that didn't know us thought we were like hired help. And I was like, screw you.
Yeah.
But the beauty is like that's when it sucks when like they say it's going to be good, but no one commits. And I think that's what most people are afraid of thinking they're going to look like jackasses, because we look like jackasses, but we handled it.
Sure.
But when you guys do theme parties, like you commit to it. So like when you commit and then I commit and we get there, then our other friends who were naysayers, they're like, oh, we should have committed more.
So now at least they're on board.
Do you have any extra? No, we don't have any extra costumes.
We always have to extra costume people. We always do. They're always like, hey, can you bring me a Cabana shirt? And we're like, sure, I guess.
So you guys got crazy Ren Fair.
We went crazy Ren Fair. And so we decided, we're like, okay, if we're going to do this, we're not going to be like assholes in an Adidas shirt. We're going to like be Ren Fair.
The Renaissance Adidas.
Verily, we are. So we both were like, we're doing this.
No, but what was your theme though? Because you were not dressed like typical Renaissance.
Yeah, I was. That was great. Listen, man. Okay, so we were like, at least we just want like a zone. We want like to be in the same zone, in the same zeitgeist, in the same world, right? Yeah. We just don't want it to be super far away from it.
Yeah.
Vern was a mushroom. She saw this like a bunch of mushrooms on TikTok. She was like, I want to be a mushroom fairy. It's like a fairy. It's like a fairy Renaissance.
Before the plague killed all the mushroom fairies.
Renaissance journey. They do believe that was the journey of like fairy. World was very intense.
We all know about Joan of Arc.
Look, or like the journey of like, especially back in the talk to fairies.
Joan of Arc did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then like the Scots like fully believed in like fairy journeys, and like you'd leave your baby and they would like, the fairies would take your baby and the baby wasn't real, all these different things. I don't know. There's fairy lore attached.
Yeah. No, you guys
has
nailed
a very a very big, broad world of like, you can do a fairy thing. You can do pirates are there. It's kind of loose.
I'm just going to say, when you're explaining what you had, I love that it has come that far.
Thank you so much.
But when I first started going, it was like, if you didn't dress like appropriate, they were mean to you.
Sure.
So if you were a fairy, they would have picked on you. That's what I was a little worried about too, because it was like showing up to like a reenactment of like a war, and you just being like, I'm gonna be
the tree on the wood.
yeah, and they're like,
wood tree.
Get this guy out of here. Yeah. But like, so when you were going, I'm like, maybe I hope they'll be nice to you. You guys are pretty girls, so they will. But you were telling me that it was all over the map.
Okay, so the best thing about it was that like, we were like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna fully commit. We went and got like deep into costume world. She was a mushroom. She wanted to be a mushroom. She needed to be a mushroom. We stayed up till 3 a.m. making a really cute mushroom hat for her. She had like fairy mushroom makeup, fairy mushroom ears, looking as cute as can be, corset, bodice, layers, still looked like a weird, like, I don't know, ethereal, very on the outskirts
elf ears.
Yeah, it's like, it works. It's in the same world. And I was like, I'm just going to be like a mushroom farmer lady. And that's what I've decided.
You're like chasing her around.
Yeah.
Get over there.
But I was like, I don't know. I'll be whatever this is. So I just threw together I feel like my body in that period time and my personage in that period time, I just immediately look like a woman that's gonna serve stew at all times. I go barmaid so quickly. Anytime people wear those outfits. But we saw
those Renaissance paintings and with the naked girls.
Are
and
you
I'm like,
kidding me?
Yeah.
I would have killed it back then. I've said that for years and years. I've literally been like, if I was born in that time period, aside from the fact that my heart would have killed me, my body would have been worshipped.
So I don't think you would have been a barmaid, because normally like with your body,
my
Renaissance,
curves,
your Renaissance body,
thank you so much,
was normally someone who was well-to-do and they had food. So a barmaid probably would have been very in need of food.
I feel like there's two different things. I either would have been like the potato stew given barmaid that would have given everyone sass and would have just run the town, or I would have been like a feed me grapes and I'm too tired to put on clothes, so I'm gonna lay on this fainting couch with a bunch of lace all over my cascading breasts.
Yes.
Like that's where it would have been in my life. But I do often go back. Whenever we go to a museum, I always look at those pictures and I'm like, I would have crushed it back then. I would have really,
me
as
too.
Pasty and as chunky as I was.
I've been to so many. I know. I've been to so many museums where I look and I'm like, that.
It's you.
Sculpture is me.
With you have like a Roman nose.
Yeah,
curls.
If I was in Roman times, I mean, I would have gotten by.
A babe. Yeah. A babelish.
Yeah. And even in like the Dutch times, like I mean, that's a lot of my family's from that area, but you look at Rembrandt, I'm like, Remy.
Hey, we're
Remy.
here, honey.
Yeah.
Honey,
we're right
here,
there. Give me
baby.
a cool hat, and I'm that guy.
It's a dream. You would have been the cool hat guy. I would have been the lady waiting with toast.
So you guys were looking fantastic.
So we looked fun. It was just like I had a bunch of like I had like a cool belt with a bunch of mushroom little trinkets attached. I had a little, like a little straw box on my side. I had a really cool hat that I made that had a bunch of mushrooms on it. Really just comfy, cozy, boobs out, which is natural.
Well, that's Ren Fair. I remember even as a kid being like, because I wasn't even like attracted to and also it was so hot, but I just remember so many boobs out. And I was like,
saw so many boobs out that I kept being like, we have sunscreen? Do you need any?
Those are very red bibs, ma'am.
Ma'am, you're going to get a melanoma, ma'am. Your titties are going to have a melanoma.
Except for that part.
I know. Hey, a little worried about the nipple. No, we went there. We were like ready. We were like, look, we're just, we're just going to go fully based on like absolute pleasure Renaissance Fair.
This is more Game of Thrones Renaissance.
Truly.
Not
and
authentic.
We decided, because we were like, this will be a really fun part of it, is we decided to have like a bingo card for ourselves.
Yeah, nice. You made one up on what you would see.
On what we would see. We were like top 5 and we added things.
What was on the card?
On the card was like a Captain Jack Sparrow, because there's always a Captain
You're
Jack.
Like, sir? And he's like, I know, Poppy.
Where's the rum?
Polly. You're like, get this guy.
I don't know where the rum is.
The one thing that we realized about Captain Jack Sparrow people, because like we used to live in this area of West Hollywood where there was this crazy Halloween party, so we always had
Halloween parties because it was inevitable, and even when we didn't want them.
Exactly. And every year there was always like a Captain Jack Sparrow that would show up.
And he was always like, he was always a friend of a friend.
Yeah. We never knew who it was.
Okay, they always are like they have a full costume. It's not a half-ass costume. No. It is a full Captain Jack Sparrow costume. Eyeliner that they're ready on hand. They have the wig with every little metal piece in the hair dread. Yep. They have the scarf. They have everything. They always have a bottle of rum. But it's always like
the mustache is always drawn on.
100%. 100%.
But and they're always like so into character. Like they never break.
Deeply committed.
And it's so annoying because it's like, I don't even know who you are, man. Like I'm dressed as Mario and you don't hear me like jamming.
The ice is in the bottom of the fridge.
You don't hear me jamming around. Can we just have like a conversation? He's like, wouldn't that be nice?
Is there Michelob Ultra in this here cabinet? And you're like, yeah, man.
And then even like their choices, like I'm sitting on the couch and they like climb up on and you're like, you're not him.
It's a balcony and where there's a lot of people on it. So
you're not Johnny Depp.
You're not Johnny Depp.
Jack Sparrow.
But they always like fully commit to the character. They never break the character. And it's always like, even when we used to like walk down to a parade because there was like a big parade area. Yeah. And they'd always be like, right this way. And they'd be like acting drunk. And we'd be like, no, hey, seriously, Chad, which way is it?
Oh, who's Chad?
Who's Chad?
Okay, and Captain Jack Sparrow. But the best one too was like, I remember that guy. I still don't know who it was. No. And I still don't know who they look like or what. Because it's like, that's
they're so deeply entrenched.
And it was just like, and I'm like, all right, man. But I just remember that specific night. Us bumping into like another Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
And that same Jack Sparrow was like also like, oh wow, is this a mirror? And like
they both like committed so deeply to each other. They're like, and they're like touching them like each other's hands, and they're like, no you. The
only way out was like there's like a 40-year-old dad with like a pirate hat on and nothing else, and he's like, I'm Jack Sparrow too.
Me as well. I had a wig on, but it got hot.
Yeah, that's the only. It's either like, I don't know, my kid just put this on me.
But you're right. Yeah. There's two subsets where there's Captain Jack Sparrow, where it's just like always deeply committed kid, never out of it. He's worn it the last 7 Halloweens in a row.
Stinks.
It's there. It stinks. It's disgusting. But also, he's never not Captain Jack Sparrow when he gets the opportunity.
No. Well, I mean, I like, and they always have like a backstory. Like one of the friends will lean over and be like, he played, at Universal Studios. He was like, that,
sure,
or he's on Hollywood Boulevard taking pictures.
He is. Yeah.
And you're always like, cool.
And all he's waiting for is the like, wow, you do a really good Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, he's waiting, and so like no one gives, and he's like,
a jar of dirt.
Yeah.
And you're like,
God.
Okay, yeah.
It is like, I would love to hear, because Johnny Depp is such kind of a dickhead at times, and I would love to see, because he is our neighbor technically, and I would love to see if like
from us,
no, he's not.
He's like it's a half a mile. And
no,
like
we could walk
millions of dollars away from
millions
us.
of dollars,
sure, for sure,
but less than half a mile.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah, he bought the whole
less
street
than half a mile, about 5 tax brackets.
yeah, there we go. But I would love to see if like they bumped into each other,
God,
and he'd be like, get out of here. I'm sure
that's enough now. You need to stop.
Don't you ever do that again. But I love the idea that like a Jack, because you're not wrong. Like when you're coming up with that idea, like there's always
going to be a Captain Jack Sparrow
eating a turkey leg, and you're like, how did you get to the Renaissance?
And he was like,
man?
I knew the Ren Fair was in town, and I knew I had my Captain Jack Sparrow costume. And you're like, wow, 2 birds, 1 stone.
Wow.
So we on our bingo card was like Captain Jack Sparrow. Our other one was someone violently off theme, but still in a costume. Where it's just like, oh, someone just wanted to wear their costume.
I really like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Not kidding. Yeah, exactly.
Is that a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? I did see your story. You posted. There was a guy that dressed as like Renaissance Shrek.
Yeah. So Renaissance Shrek was incredible. He was amazing, and he was like so casual too. And I was like, you just had these things, but like. We wanted a violently off theme one, and so we saw many of those. We saw like the guy from Moana with like the bit, you're like, oh,
the Rock,
just the Rock character from Moana, and like in no Renaissance
like a
way.
shirtless Samoan guy.
But like
maybe that wasn't a costume. Maybe he was just hot.
It was 100% the Moana outfit because he had that giant like the hook that he has. Yeah, like he had that. He just wanted to be in a Moana thing.
All right. So if you're noticing that there hasn't been a wide shot, it's because I had a hard weekend. We're about to get into that, and I didn't format the card of the wide, and we're hopping back in where we left off, which I believe was somewhere.
The bingo card.
The bingo card at the Renaissance Fair. Take it away.
On our bingo card was Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
We had someone who was violently off. The weirdest one was the guy dressed simply as Moana, and like he was just like, yeah, this is what I want to be, and I was like, I love it. But like, not really the weirdest one. There was other really weird ones of like, like a little girl was Elsa. She was like nailing it, and you're like, well,
yes. That's fine, because little kids will just go to the grocery store and be like, I'm Elsa. So true. But the Moana guy. That's the question is like, was his kid like, you got to dress up? And he's like, we're just doing this.
I don't know, because he was like really deeply committed. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't know. It's been a minute since I've seen Moana. I don't know what the time period was, honestly. So
it wasn't Renaissance.
What if it was? What if it was,
this
it's
was
like,
just in that island during the same time.
I want to know. I realized that I was like, I don't really know. What if it was? And then there was a girl that was like, it was loose, but she was like in a full Midsommar, like the flower crown and Midsommar outfit.
I think she was just like a Daisy girl.
Yeah, she just
probably
wanted to wear a
hasn't seen the
Midsommar
movie.
outfit.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there's a maypole here, so kind of.
Maybe.
Like, I was like, ish.
So the Moana guy, one of our good friends a while ago, he was telling us like, it was around Halloween, and I was asking him what he was going to dress up as. And he was like, listen. He's like, I'm sick of thinking about it, and I'm sick of half-assing it. So, like 4 years ago, I spent like $500, and I got this Han Solo costume, and that's my costume.
Yeah,
I go as Han Solo for Halloween every year. It's a dope costume. I don't think about it. That's what it is. And I'm wondering, is this like the Moana guy?
Know.
He's like, that's my costume.
He had like a prop that was like huge, and it was like, I was like, I mean. Probably a little bit like, hey, I built this whole thing. I made this whole thing, and I only got to wear it like once at Comic-Con. Yeah. So I'm wearing it again at the Renaissance Fair. Funny. I think it was like, something along those lines.
That's funny.
And there was like, there's like creatures from the Dark Crystal, but you're like, yeah, that all kind of makes sense. Sure. Like that all makes sense. I would
dress as like, Billy Crystal and his wife from Princess Bride.
Yeah, like that was there was a Wesley there. He had like a rat. And he had his, like, black mascot and stuff like that. Like that was like perfect.
But was there? Oh, there was a Wesley.
There was a Wesley. Yeah, for sure. As you wish. Yeah, there was fully that. Yeah. And then one of my favorite ones that I saw, because then there's like also really cool, really sick costumes that people just like fully, obviously full decked out Renaissance that you're like top notch. Felt like we're in Game of Thrones. Love it. Beautiful. Or just like felt like we're in a period piece. It's like really beautiful stuff. And then there was like someone did Kylo Renaissance. And it was Kylo Ren, but like a Renaissance version of Kylo Ren. So like, I mean, it was sick. I'm going to be honest. It was rad. It was like, because his whole mask was like made out of like clockwork pieces, and I don't know, it was cool. Stop! Mama, don't yuck someone's yum.
Jeremy Renaissance.
Jeremy Renaissance.
When he goes to the Ren Fair.
I'm going as Jeremy Renaissance. No, it was like really very good, and I thought that one was really cool. But then we just kept seeing weird ones where we're like, just a cowboy. A cowboy.
Renaissance
cowboy. You know, like it was weird ones like that.
Maybe they're like, just always a cowboy, and they went to the Ren Fair.
Like, wow, we feel bad if he's just always a cowboy.
You said I needed a big hat, and I'm wearing my big hat. It's sunny out here.
But I didn't know this. I didn't know a lot about it, obviously, because there was like I have gone to something similar, and it was like when I was very, very young. So I didn't know that you
Revolution
could exactly. God, what a dream, huh? No, I walked in and like I didn't know you could rent costumes. They had a huge like costume rental booth, and I was like,
you couldn't when I was a kid. No? That's pretty
okay. Well, but look, if it's like people that are like, hey, I
told you we should have dressed up.
That's what it's gonna be.
Oh my!
You know what? We're gonna go. I'm dropping $65, Carl, and I don't know. I don't care. I don't want to look like an idiot.
I want my bosom to look good. All right.
But what I will say too is that like, as much as you think it's not going to be like, we both were like, you know, when we went to that like party and we both like decked out and we tried as hard as we could and no one was there.
Yeah.
The thing that you do know is that like, if you're going to wear a costume, don't worry. Others will be in costume. So we kept calling them like fellow.
At the Ren Fair. Yeah.
Fellow theme lovers. Yeah. So we were like, well, at least we know that like we're going to be fine. Like if we're decked out, no one's going to be like, wow, crazy costume.
No, because you're going to a Ren Fair.
Exactly. And then we kept being like, I wonder how many people will be dressed up. It was like, I will say 90%. 90% of people were dressed in some way.
Of idiots.
I felt so bad for those 10%.
Hey, cool Puma shirt, you idiot.
It's exactly that. It's exactly a dad that's like, I didn't know.
You didn't tell me. Yes, you did. Tell me.
And she's like, oh, is that why you wanted your flower crown? Fuck. You know?
No,
it's like,
but like, how were the regulars there? Because
so that was also
I
want to
get into my Ren Fair experiences.
I know you do.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah.
But that was also on the bingo card. So the bingo card was like someone violently off theme, a Captain Jack Sparrow. We did have a nip / areola slip. We want like that.
Did you hit that one?
Absolutely, we did. We got a full areola.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. When I had to go in high school, I saw a few nip slips.
Okay.
And I was like,
I love that you held on to
They weren't even like good ones, but you're like,
hey, every nip slip is a good nip slip.
No. But I mean, like,
they were on from like a 65-year-old woman. Yeah, you're like, all right, I'll take it.
Did you see Mrs. Lebarsky?
Mrs. Lebarsky.
Yeah. I mean, gross, but like,
but
weird.
Like, not no, right? Not no.
And then everyone's like, no, yes, no.
Yeah,
but still like,
no.
Yeah, it was,
no. So anyway. we saw areola, we saw some nip. What else was on our a completely inebriated, which we got. There was like full frat boys were they completely inebriated.
We're gonna do shots.
Yeah, fully. Or just
did you guys do Irish car bombs in the Renaissance?
Yo, you guys. Like the Budweisers are $16 a can. You guys got really wasted and very expensive wasted. So full on, we were like, okay, we got some buzzy boys. Got it, nailed it.
Done.
And then, which is my favorite part, you might yuck it, but I think it's wonderful, is like the people that not the people that work there that are deeply entrenched in their character, which is fine because you work there and that's what it is. And this is your job. You should be in your character. You should be doing that.
Yes.
This is an experience for all. But the other outside people that come and verily want to like talk this with the same speech and with the same cadence and like are deeply entrenched in whatever character they've brought to the table.
Yes.
We were like, if I want to see that, that was on our bingo card of like the people that were like
don't work there, but
fully
like,
committed to the Renaissance era. that don't work there, but like have like obviously are regulars and come to this every year.
I do this.
Absolutely saw those. Nice. Many of those. No one that was like ever trying to like. No one tried to like get you in on it or anything. It was all just very like they were with their crowd.
Okay.
The people that
maybe they did get my emails.
Okay. No, I will say the thing that we kept saying over and over again. It was like everyone was there to have a wonderful, fun time.
That's
like
great to hear.
No one was there just as like this is what we're doing this weekend with the family. Like no one was nasty. No one was mean. I mean, I'm sure like that existed in the space.
Yeah.
But like we didn't see it at all. Everyone was so warm and so kind. Vern looked so cute in her little mushroom outfit, and everyone was like,
and I'm sure
love
you
it. Like everyone was like, oh my God, they're so sweet, so kind. So many young people, like really and truly, like I was expecting like, you know, I don't know, older people or just like our, 40 and
people
up
from
kind of
the
a
Renaissance.
Thing. People, I was expecting 250,000-year-old people.
Yeah.
No, I was expecting, not like very super young people, but there's like tons of young kids there, all in like variant levels of fairy outfits or like whatever outfits. Nice. Everyone. I would say 90% of people dressed up, 70% of people like dressed up, and then like there was like guys with like their mom's shirt and sash, you know, and
all right, you did
like,
it.
oh, you have brown pants on, and you're doing great.
At least you gave it a go.
Yeah. Like again, there was also that 10% of like the chads that were just like, I don't know, man.
You didn't tell me how to do it. What's the Renaissance?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But everyone was there truly to have like the most lovely, wonderful time.
That's great.
They all were so warm, so kind.
Nice.
It was so jovial. A weird thing that kept happening too is that like that we didn't know, that we were like, is this part of it? I don't know. But if people like liked your outfit, like random people, not the people that worked there, they'd be like, I love your little thing. And like one little girl gave us like little tiny plastic mushrooms. And then another little girl was like, oh, I love your outfits. And like gave us a little crystal.
Oh, that's nice.
And like all these cute little, like one little girl came up and was like, we love your we love your whole thing. Like, here's a charm. And Vern and I were like, we gotta bring charms next year. We didn't know.
Yeah, that's fun. These kids have gone to Disneyland too much.
I think so. No, and I also think it's like because it's such a world build, like, and as stupid as it sounds, it's like it really was so like sweet and naive and delightful that I think that people latched the fuck on.
I think so. I think like because at Disneyland, when my mom used to work for Disney, like you can do like pin trading, with the employees. And so I think it's just like adding those games.
It was truly that. And so they added those weird little things. And obviously like these people, like one of the girls we were talking to, because she had a really cute flower crown. She's like, I got this 3 years ago. And now like I've been building my Ren outfit for the last like 3 years. And you're like, this is so cute.
That's
and she had like a wonderful time. And one of my favorite things that happened to us like during the day though is Vern and I were like, oh, we're going to take like little photos. There's like a lake, a really cute little lake. Yeah. We're like, oh, we're going to take little photos here. And I was taking pictures of her and she took a picture of me. And this girl comes up and she's like smoking a cigarette. You're not supposed to be smoking. And she's like smoking a cigarette. And she's like, oh my God, do you guys want a picture of you two? And we're like, yeah, please. And she's like, oh my God, you guys look amazing. You look so cute. You look so great. And then she's like, I'm going to direct you guys, okay? And we're like, love it. Like, we love a director.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, go. Put your arm around her. Look into her eyes. Hold her. And we're like,
her.
oh, yeah, like literally like, oh, okay.
Okay, Marcia.
Like,
too much.
Like, okay, and she's like, yeah, great. This is good. And she's like going down on the ground. And we're like, you don't have to do No. And she's like, I got it. This is good. And she's like climbing up on a hay bale, taking pictures. She's like going really hard. And then she like goes, she's like, here, take a look at it. This was after like a minute and a half. We're and I like, we got it. Enough poses. Thank you so much.
I think we got what we came for.
And then she literally is like looking at us and she's like, this is my first Ren Fair ever. And I was like, oh, I love that. And then she's like, are you guys on mushrooms too?
You look like a mushroom.
And then we both like were like, oh, because then I like noticed her very dilated eyes.
If you give a mouse a mushroom,
and then literally, and she's like, are you guys on mushrooms too? And both were like, oh no. And she was like, well, your outfit's a trip for me.
Yeah.
She's a mushroom.
Ma'am,
and
you're 49 years old.
I bet. And she's like, I'm having the time of my life. And we're like, that's awesome. I love it. That's so cool. But we just love the like, are you guys on mushrooms too? And we're like, oh no. But
it makes sense.
Really weird time. I mean, wild day to do some mushrooms.
Yeah, I'm here with my kids.
I mean, really.
You're like,
We were laughing because we looked at the pictures and it's batshit
Yeah,
crazy.
that's hilarious.
We're like, oh, a woman on mushrooms.
Wait, what is
photos.
this?
Yeah,
that's
we're
hilarious.
Like, that's just part of the fence.
Hey. When I've been on mushrooms, my photos are amazing.
These were not.
No. But that's because I'm a photographer. She's like, I've never done a photograph.
And she's like feeling it. She literally was like, again, she was like on the ground, and we're like, girlfriend, you don't need to do that.
Happening.
But now I know it's because she was tripping her little brains out. And then Vern was like, what was it like to see a mushroom on mushrooms? Like
hilarious.
That must have been a real
it is a trip.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We had, I don't know. We had a really lovely time. I would say 10 out of 10.
Nice.
Would do again. Nice. Absolutely.
How was the jousting?
Okay.
You see a joust?
Yes, we did see a joust. We missed a couple of the jousts because we got like distracted by shiny things, which I think is very normal.
A lot of shiny things. A lot of pewter.
One of my favorite things that we were like, oh, we're hungry. We went to like the court of food.
Ah, yes.
You know? Yes. And we were both laughing at like would thou like a barbecue? Would thou like a teriyaki bowl?
Yeah, I know.
You know, we were like, oh, these aren't very Renaissance-y foods.
That's my favorite part too, because you're like, oh, they'll have Venmo, and they're like, cash is king, and you're like, there was no cash back.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I got doubloons.
Do you take shekels?
Yeah. So but we noticed that about the food court where it was just like, a poke bowl in the Renaissance, and we're like,
yes. That would have killed the whole civilization.
It was like,
the raw
how
fish.
did they die? That's
the
what we did say
poke.
too. We were like, someone kept getting fish and chips, and we're like, fish and chips at a fair? Like, I'm not ready. We weren't very ready to do that.
Hilarious.
But as it stands, we got a baked potato the size of my head,
yes.
and also. Man, I love it. I know I'm Irish,
no,
but
it's good.
Baked potato, put it in, bury me with one. I swear to God. It's up there on my favorite foods. I really do
I know.
think so.
And you do love a baked potato.
I really do love a baked potato. But we decided we're going to go do the jousting.
Yeah.
So we got like food. We go like perfectly. It was a real lucky day, I will say. And sometimes those things happen where it's like, we were worried about getting there late. Oh, we found parking immediately. Yeah. We were worried about waiting in line for something. We got through immediately. Yeah. It was like such a nice little serendipitous day. We got like multiple people on mushrooms taking photos. Thank you so much.
Wow.
You know,
nice.
It was very sweet. We went to the joust early. No, turns out it was perfect time because we got like the best little seats.
I feel like. And I'm gonna get to mine in a second, but I feel like your life, I was in the upside down.
Yeah,
version.
You were in the upside down version. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But so like we went to the jousting, and I didn't know this, but we didn't think about it.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
So literally, I didn't know, but it was like the last joust of the day, and it was like. I didn't know it was the joust to the death.
Oh, yeah. It's a big deal. Like, the Black Knight.
They do the jousting. And then, of course, someone's an asshole and gets off his horse. And they, are doing this whole, battle and fight with the swords. And it's cool to see. And it's also... I have always said, whenever you see any of those, Game of Thrones, or, any of those, Greco-Roman anything where you're like, oh my God, how could they be such animals? And yet then they put us in a crowd and we're all like, kill him!
Yeah. Well, I think you knew it was
fake. Of course,
fake.
but I didn't know. And they had blood squibs. They had,
yeah. They go for it.
And,
Hell yeah.
So we didn't we're just chilling and we're like, oh, that's funny. Oh, this guy's gonna get off his horse. Ooh, now it's a sword battle, you know. Oh, ha ha ha. And there's children sitting
it
right
wasn't
next
like
to
that
us.
when I was a kid.
Okay.
So they must have gotten really excited.
They got really excited and they got stunt people, obviously.
Yeah.
And so there's kids, kitty kids, probably, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, sitting right next to us. And they're fighting and it's oh no. And we're oh no. And then it gets really real. And then all of a sudden, he literally slashes the knife up and the largest blood squib that I've ever seen in
this
my
might have
life.
been real. You might have watched
Honestly,
a murder.
I said that I was what if we just watched a murder? What if
it
was a whole thing and film that documentary or
they
CSI episode
it was
immediately.
An accident.
It was at the beginning of a CSI episode is all of us there and then it's someone call a medic.
Yeah. That's a great episode because it's behind the scenes
he was cheating on
Burke told
he embezzlement. It's
exactly.
always embezzlement, right? He was going to close the Renaissance Faire down. I think it's either he's going to close the Renaissance Faire.
Well, they're fighting for the honor.
Yeah, 100%. Or it's cheating or closing the Renaissance Faire early and taking all the money, and so he kills him, right? But we both it was the largest blood because I've seen a lot of blood squibs go off and stuff and whatever, and but I was I don't even know where he got it. I'm sure there was some turnabout that he did and he had it.
Yeah.
But it truly was he slashes his neck essentially and just like Monty Python level blood is squirting out.
Just imagine the rehearsals.
That's what I was saying. And I was like, and then we're just like, oh, because I wasn't expecting like a fight to the death. And then truly these like children next to us are like, Dad, like,
is it real?
Just like,
tell me it's okay.
Hey man.
Yeah.
And like the one kid that was like sitting there already not wanting to be there was like, like, is he gonna be okay? And he's like, they're actors.
They should be all right.
Yeah. And then he's like, that blood looks real. And the dad with the like, I don't know, with the like vicious Oakley glasses was like, man, it does look real.
It does look real.
Like, hey,
he didn't come back out for the bow, so it might have been real.
You gotta chime in and tell him
hilarious.
it's okay. But I did think that was one of the best things, was that the jousting has taken it up a notch. Like not only cutie horses, everyone's ready to like murder whatever side that they're not on.
Yeah.
And then immediately the most amount of blood squibs that I've ever seen in my life. And I can just say it was a 10 out of 10 experience.
Wow.
Would do again in a heartbeat.
And I love
Probably will go every year.
I love that. And I can't wait to go back. Because when I was young, I had a different experience. And I'm going to make it quick. But long story short, the Renaissance Faire is like kind of by...
We should have called this podcast Long Story Short.
Short story long.
Short story long.
The Renaissance Faire was like kind of near the high school that I went to.
Sure.
Now, I'm sure since we don't have a huge number of fans yet, and a lot of these fans know our stories, they know that I played bagpipes in high school.
They do know that you played bagpipes.
They know that my high school, and if you don't know, I played bagpipes in high school.
He still does.
I still play them,
bagpipes.
but I mean, in high school, we were very serious about the bagpipes.
Yes, good for
our high school was Scottish themed. We had kilts. We had the whole thing. This is not a normal thing. Most high schools do not have bagpipes.
No.
Ours had a Scottish thing. But since we were like close enough to the Ren Fair, I don't know whose idea this was, if it was our teacher's idea or if it was the Ren Fair's idea. I don't know who.
God, I love
but for whatever reason, you know, it was one of those like, the pipe band is going to the Ren Fair. And we're like, why? And they're like, we're going.
Because it's a Renaissance Fair and you're wearing a kilt.
Well, I think it was more like it's a place where they'll let us play.
Yeah.
Like they just wanted us to play the bagpipes
and
as much as possible.
Yeah.
Get us excited about it. But it was not exciting because basically we go and we're very good at the bagpipes, weirdly. Like you're
all very like, it's like a band. You've put enough hours in.
I know, but like this year or when I went, it was very weirdly like we were very passionate about it, all of us.
The best year yet.
No, we all like placed when we would go to competitions and we were very serious. And
it's like how high school football players are like, that was so and so was on QB.
Do you remember?
This guy was the forward, and you're like, but
and they went on to go pro. Some of them went on to go pro. You know, like some
went
of
on
these
to go pro bagpipe player.
Yeah, some of these are the best bagpipe players now in the world. I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
Yeah, they went from the year I was playing.
Do you regret not going into professional bagpiping?
No, I don't. But I was the pipe major, so that's cool. Anyways,
impressive.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So,
2 nip slips and a pipe major.
So we go and we have to like play, and we had to wear the kilts and the whole we were
regalia.
we were in half dress, not full dress, but still, this is like more of like a modern dress. This isn't like a Renaissance Fair outfit, but it's still like weird, like wearing the kilts or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're all together, so it's like, so we get there, and then they like bring us back in the back area, not where like the normal people are, like where all the people actually camp out, like because they're living in RVs.
Oh, they are all living in RVs and yurts and stuff.
Yeah,
I want to know the BTS.
Yeah,
I want to know the behind
so
the
I
scenes.
saw the BTS.
Okay,
I saw behind the curtain or whatever it was, and like this man who is 97 feet tall and very, very big, just a big guy.
Just huge, like Big John,
Well, that's
Little
funny
John.
you say Big John because he went by Little John.
See, they always do go by
I know,
Little
and it was
John.
such a good, it was too good because he's like, my name's Little John. And I'm like, of course it is. You 9 foot tall ghost of Christmas past, red bearded man, you know, like,
of course it is.
Yeah. And he had a walking stick and he knew everyone.
I live for him.
And he was like our point person.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to introduce you to Shondor or something like, and it was this guy.
I love it.
Yeah. And it was this guy who had like slicked back hair and a ponytail.
Yep.
If you ever watched Boy Meets World, like the original one, do you remember like Sean's dad, who was like kind of cool, but kind of like a bad, no, not Sean's dad. Cause that was actually, the guy from Waterboy. It was Blake Clark, the teacher with like the leather jacket who was like kind of cool, but kind of weird.
He was supposed to be a really cool guy. But
but
in reality, he was just like a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like wore denim.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, so that was like literally this guy. He had like a curly hair and a ponytail, but he was like
Shandor,
much older than the other people.
Sure.
Like probably now looking back on it, he was probably like 41. Mm-hmm. But he was trying to pass for like 25.
Sure. Shandor.
Yeah. And he had his get up.
Yeah.
But his bagpipes were very out of tune and very trashy. And
you've said often that there is quite literally nothing worse than out of tune bagpipes.
There's nothing worse than it.
Yeah. And that's fair.
And so we get there, and it's so funny because it's very like, I don't think he knew we were coming, and he was the guy, and it was his show.
Oh, no.
And so like we're there, and he's like, oh, cool. Yeah, no, some younger guys, and he's like
some other bagpipers.
Yeah, and he's sweating a lot because he's definitely hungover.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, let's do this. And we're supposed to be playing some songs for these Irish step dancers.
Yeah.
And
we saw the Irish step dancers too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So we were playing. Was Sean there? Was Shandor there?
I don't think it was Shandor there. I'm
was someone
assuming
playing
Shandor's
bagpipes?
passed.
Was someone playing bagpipes for them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a guy like that was there. And it was obvious like he was involved with a few of these step dancers. Because as they're taking the stage, they're like, hi, Shandor. And he's like, hey.
Oh, so he's like swinging around.
Oh, yeah. And they're like, Shandor. And he's like, Marcia, nice to meet you. Yeah.
Hey, Betsy, looking good.
And he's like trying to not like let them all know.
Don't tell her that I said
he's like, I got a good thing going here. You know,
like hands in all the pies, baby.
Yeah. And so he's like trying to like get his thing going. And like, we're like, okay, are we doing like a waltz? Are we doing a jig? Like, cause we're there for business.
Yeah.
This guy has too many hands and too many pots. Like, he's just like,
he's there to,
one thing goes wrong.
To sling it out.
Oh yeah.
And you guys are there to.
But
just
he also
play.
wants to like look cool. Like he's supposed to be the coolest guy. You know,
the
there can
pipe
only
guy.
be one Highlander. Yeah. And so he's like, you know, I'm gonna kind of do my thing, and then you guys kind of do your thing.
I don't think bagpipes are something you just chime in with.
Yeah, no, I know, but like, so we had a moment where we like warmed up together, and it was pretty quickly. Like we're all kind of like drums, quick march, and we're like in it, and we're like, and we're in tune, and we're hitting everything. The tar luas
everything's
are
the
perfect.
same. Yeah,
and he's just like sweating, even watching us, and he's just like. So I'm going to take the first jig on my own. I'm just going to do that one my own, you know, because he also played with us and he was like 7 keys different than which was almost technically that'd be 1 key, you know, but he's so far off.
He's just off.
Yeah, he's very off. So we couldn't ever play together because he was just so different. Yeah. And it was just so funny because like, I was just looking and I'm like, what is this life? Who is this guy? Like, he's not good at this, but like, that's his thing. And he has his hand in too many pots. And these girls love him. And I'm like, I can only imagine the reality show.
Shandor's a lover.
Like,
I thought about
love in the Renaissance.
I know.
Yeah.
I literally was like, I want that reality show because you know that again, like the lights go down and they're all just like, because they're such like wild feral people.
They close the park. They're basically carnies.
Yeah, it's cool. But in a weird way, Vern and I both many times we were like, do we just quit everything we're doing and join the Renaissance Fair?
I mean,
do we just stop everything we want?
It's a small town. Sure. Let's just say.
Okay.
So you meet after a minute, you're like, we gotta get out of this.
I'm gonna be honest,
we gotta get back to 2023.
I just want to be the baked potato girl at the Renaissance Fair. No, but that's my new dream. That's my new.
But like Shandor was cool. He was cool. Like, I mean, he was definitely not who I wanted to be, but I wasn't mad at him. Okay. I was like, you know what, Sean? You do you, man.
You're doing it,
You got it.
He's like, I go with Shandor. Sean is not my name.
Yeah.
Shandor.
You know what? Fine.
Sean?
Yeah.
Shandor.
You go by it. So, but what really pissed me off is like, I'm already mad. And this is before they moved it where...
Why were you already mad? Because of Shandor?
No. Because like, they made us go.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like we didn't get to lose a high school day. They're like, you're losing a weekend and you're going.
And you probably didn't get to like actually go and be a part of it.
No, because they're like, we're doing 9 shows, and I'm like 9.
Jesus
Can we do like 2? And they're like, no.
Can we do 2 and dick around? Absolutely not.
No. Yeah. And we were too young to do drugs or anything, so it was like very serious. And so. The thing that like hurt my feelings the most was like we're already dressed in these kilts or whatever. Yeah. We're walking around, and I would expect like what you're talking about now. It seems like they're all nice, but not lovely. Then they're like, hello, time travelers. like, because obviously it's not from the period. And they're like,
what is this, perchance?
Yeah.
This very wonderful fabric.
Yeah. And it's like, ooh, it looks like Shondor's kilt. And I'm like, fuck Shondor, fuck you.
Hey guys,
this is,
I don't want to be here. It's a Saturday.
Yeah.
I just want to hang out with my friends.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember like one lady was nice because it was, also it was my birthday. So that didn't help.
That's a tough day.
Yeah. And so I go to some lady, I see a sporran, which is like the purse, the leather purse in front of a kilt that you wear. It's like where you keep your stuff. And it was like a dead raccoon, and I still have it.
You do still
but
have
I was like, hey, how much for the raccoon sporran? And she was like, 5,000 shekel or whatever. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
I can't. Never mind.
And she's like, $50 US. And I was like, I don't have that. And I was like, but I really want that. And so I was like, it's my birthday. And I kept trying. And she's like, if you come and play a song for me, I'll give it to you. So I did. And she gave me the
That's
and
so
so
nice.
that was really nice. So
that's the Renaissance Faire attitude.
That's where we got.
That's
but then
the
I remember
Faire
I'm in the
attitude.
food court.
Oh no.
And I'm waiting for a turkey leg or something. And one of those guys, he's just hammered. I don't think he works there.
Nope.
And he comes up to me and he's like literally lifting my kilt. This guy could have gone to jail for pedophilia.
Now he can, absolutely.
Is it pedophilia? What's the kid one? Yeah, pedophilia. Because
Yeah.
I was not old enough. And
Yeah.
he's like, if I put a mirror on a stick and would you have underwear on? And we're like, sir.
And he's like hammered, and they're like, "Yeah, we banned him 6 years ago."
But he has like the perfect costume. Like
Yeah,
this guy's
of course
there
he does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he was doing that whole like, what era are you from? And like just picking on us and like just razzing. And you know, I also did a lot of improv, and I was just done. And he said something like, who is your mother? You know, or something like that. And I don't remember like why or how, but I like leaned in and he made fun of me.
Yeah.
And like where I was from. And then he
Sure.
made fun of my friend. And I was like, I don't remember. It was something like, listen, sir, your father was a goat and your mother was a whore. Now leave us alone. And he was like,
He's like, "What is this child doing?"
And his eyes just opened up. And he was like, hey, man. Like he like broke character.
Hey, man, I've had a really hard time, and I'm a little broke right now.
Yeah. And he was like, I was just razzing
And you're
you.
like,
And
I
I
was
was like,
just a 17-year-old kid, and I don't want to be here.
yeah.
Man.
And then he's like, but that was pretty good though. Like, and like afterwards, he kind of invited me to the improv.
You don't
troupe.
get to you don't get to
No,
go
but I
and
remember-
be a fool.
Yeah. No, but I remember, and it was just so hot. And like Lil Jon, I think, had a heat stroke when we went back. He was laying down. He had to ice his foot.
Okay.
And so I
will say that it was like, apparently it used to be in somewhere hot, and now that they moved it to be like a cooler location because, again, people kept passing out in all of their layers.
Well, I want to go now. I will wear a kilt, I think, but I will wear a period kilt.
I'm going to be honest. You will not get to go if you're going to harsh my
No, I'm not.
Renaissance
No, because
butt.
I'm different now, and I'm gonna go with a new expectation. I did see Mo Collins from Mad TV when I was there, so that was
cool.
pretty cool.
She's a cutie. I am a convert. I'm ready to go next year. See what else I can get into. I will say one of my favorite
things. I'm gonna go to
things.
the Jeremy Renner Fair where you have to dress up as one of a Jeremy Renner character living in the Renner universe.
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. I'm like, I'm the guy from Arrival.
Wait, you were in that?
Wow, fuck! I forgot you were in that.
Yeah.
No, fully that. I'm gonna. Go, I'm ready to go every year. I will say the thing that I was sad about. I was really sad about this, and you're gonna be sad about this too. We were there the one weekend where there wasn't falcons and owls.
I was gonna ask.
No, there
wasn't.
A falconer. She said she was like, no, they're not here this weekend, and I was like, because we
went
at
to Falcon Fest. You know?
I know, right? They're at Falcon Fest 2023. I'm like, where is that, and how can we get there?
Ukaipa.
Is it by car? Plane?
No, it's actually by air.
Okay.
It has to be.
I'm like purchasing tickets right now. No, we were laughing because like the petting zoo was like, we're like, this is just goats.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like they're like, oh, and a pony, one pony and like 12 goats. Petting zoo. And we're like, love it. But everything else was like super fun and weird and ridiculous. And like, again, 10 out of 10, loved it.
That's great.
Wasn't no falcons, no owls.
Yeah.
Absolutely devastated about that. But a lot of belly dances, a lot of Irish step dancers.
I don't think
a weird maypole thing. No, none of it
made sense.
Again, it's all like, you know how they do like a weird thing where it's like, oh, here's the Venn diagram, and I'm like, you guys are really
it's just been Americanized.
Out.
We just kind of
again,
we're gonna do what we want to do.
As a mushroom and a mushroom farmer, so you tell me. Next year, Vern wants to be a cabbage, so
I want to be a cabin.
You don't get to be a cabin.
Just like
what are you? And you're like, I'm the guy from Moana. You're like, God damn.
I'm having a good time. I'm being optimistic, but I had a treacherous, a tumultuous, a hard cheese of a weekend.
Oh wow!
A moldy cheese. The cheese went bad.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a something like camembert.
Sure.
I'm the opposite of fondue, but I had moments. There were little moments.
Yeah. You got a hard
Long
cheese.
story short. Short story long. Jinx, you owe me a cheese.
Yeah.
I, on Thursday, well, both Lee and I, we had what we thought was food poisoning. Yeah, Lee had it first, and normally if you've listened to our stories in the past, normally I don't get food poisoning.
Delman has an iron stomach.
Yeah.
Delman can eat whatever and anything. Delman can grab anything out of a river and eat it.
And I have.
Sure.
But not this time.
No.
And so like she's, being all sick and I'm being all supportive and I'm like, stop being sick. And I wake up at 6 a.m. on Thursday with I don't want to describe it, but you can your mind can go there.
Sure,
Let's just say I wasn't in control of my body.
Okay.
And things wanted to exit and they had to go out the emergency exits of the plane.
That's all.
That's it.
That's
you get
all.
it. That's all you need to know.
Say.
That's all you need to know. So no longer in control of the vessel. We're doing things.
Yeah.
Then
the ship is going off course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we get through it. The next day, I'm like, I lost the day. I'm just going to be the guy. I'm just going to be the couch. That's what I'm going to be.
Yeah, you have to.
So I think I do good. I don't overwork. I don't do anything. I'm like, I'm just going to lay low.
Yeah.
We're going to get it out however it comes out.
Yeah.
So we have a day. Then on Friday, I wake up, and that's when you're going to the Ren Fair.
I'm going to get ready
for the Ren Fair.
I'm going to go make my costume for the Ren Fair. My mushroom lady costume.
But I was being featured like on the poster of a comedy festival that was taking place in the desert.
Oh, no.
And it's a camp. It was a camp comedy festival, like a Burning Man or a Coachella.
But for comedy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So already a lot. But
already a lot if you're not, if you are in control of your body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a friend of mine created it, and I hadn't fully made my return to comedy yet. I don't know if many of you know, I'm sure you do, but like when COVID happened, we had to take it very seriously. So I had to take a pause. I'm just catching up to people that haven't seen the other episodes. And so I haven't fully jumped back into stand-up. This was going to be my return.
Sure.
So I was very excited. I'm taking Gus the bus, which is our camper van again, out there. And I wake up, it's Friday morning. I'm like, hey, I'm not 100% in control, but I'm not dying.
Sure.
And I know how food poisoning works. It's normally a one-day thing. We got this.
Sometimes.
You know, but I knew something was up. Because when you were leaving, I was like crying too much. And I don't normally cry.
Yeah, you don't normally cry.
But it was one of those, like, my body was like, please don't make me go.
I even thought, I was like, maybe he's just sick because you were very emotional when I left. And I was like, also, nothing feels worse than when you're like, are you okay?
Well,
should I stay?
The weird, like, I have some weird isms. And my dad had this weird pride on, like, never missing a day of school or a day of work.
A nightmare.
So
everyone should miss anything they want to miss.
Listen, I got the perfect attendance award.
For what? At what cost?
Well, actually, I can tell you. My grandpa's funeral, I had to go to school for two classes just to get the credit, and then I got to go to my grandpa's funeral. But perfect attendance, this guy.
That and a sock will get you nothing.
So I'm like, we're going. So I'm in the van and I'm dying. Yeah. I'm absolutely dying. Yeah. There's no air conditioning. It's very hot. I'm driving and I'm having that moment where I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. Like I'm just sweating and I don't feel good. I'm shaking. I'm like, is this it? Is this how I go?
No.
And I'm just like, I pull over, I buy Gatorade. I'm just eating Gatorade and drinking Cliff Bars. Just out of my mind. Yeah. I have no idea what's happening. I get there. I'm not feeling great, but I'm like, we're happy to be here.
We're going to rally.
Yeah, we're going to rally. I'm like, I'm going to try new material, see how it goes. I get up, and I'm not going to lie to you. It was great. It was fantastic.
Good show.
I was like,
Yay.
oh my gosh, my new stuff went so good. And it was just like, I couldn't have imagined it.
Yeah. What a great feeling.
It was. And how bad my body felt, I felt in my mind. The adrenaline took over.
Sure.
So, of course, I did what anyone would do. And I was like, I'm better. I'm going to, I'm going to crack a beer.
No.
But I was still being responsible. And I didn't have too many beers. I didn't. I really didn't.
7,
14.
9, 8, 14
yeah,
beers.
no.
11 beers.
No. To be 1,000% candid, I had 3 beers.
That's too many beers.
That's not too many beers.
That is
normally.
too many beers if you've had food poisoning.
Sure, but I thought that was done. I thought that was like a one-day thing. And I thought we were over. I thought we were just not feeling good the next day, but we were good.
Sure.
So I had 3 beer. I was having a good night. Everything was good. But the problem, and not the problem, but like these festivals, they're not just comedians. There's also like, because if you're gonna have a festival, you want people to come.
Yeah, it's gotta
so
be
you're like gotta have DJs.
Gotta have DJs.
Even if you don't want them, that's the only way the crowd's gonna come.
You can't avoid DJs these days.
No,
I'm shocked there
100%.
wasn't a DJ at the Ren Fair.
I know, right?
I really am. I'm like
spinning clams.
Yes, verily into the night. We are jamming.
I think even in
honestly, the drum circle is tiny a bit like in the same DJ's vibe.
I remember even in the Flintstones, they were spinning like stones.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah. You can't avoid a DJ. They're there.
So this is just like
heavy DJ.
Heavy, deep playa for the burners out there. This is crazy, right? Yeah. So I hang out.
EDM
I have a decent time. I'm
still
what'd you say?
EDM for the non-burners.
EDM for the non-burners. And so I'm still kind of feeling okay. I'm living off the high of my set. There weren't a lot of people there, but it was fine.
Yeah, sure.
So I go into the van and I'm trying to go to bed. I have the eye mask. I have the earplugs. I'm trying to be good.
That can only help so much when there's like a giant wall of noise coming at you.
Little child boy who I ended up really falling in love with named Christoph. He was like DJing and I said, when is your set? And he goes, it's starting at 2 a.m.
And you were like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I'm in bed and it's just like, yo, my name is Christoph.
At 2 a.m.
And then like I literally like jammed the earplugs like in there and it just got louder. I don't even know how that happened. But anyways, so I'm like, okay, I don't sleep great. It's not bad, but it's not great.
Yeah.
And I wake up the next morning thinking we're going to be good.
Yeah.
And as I said, I didn't drink too many beer. I just had a few. Mm-hmm. And I woke up and I was feeling okay, but it was just so like, I didn't sleep.
You texted me. You were like, I don't think I'm a festival boy anymore.
Yeah. I was like, I think I'm done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was just because
I think that people get to an age where they're like, oh, I like the comforts of my things. I mean,
I have a camper van, so I shouldn't complain. It was just more that it was like
2 a.m.
2 a.m. Yeah. And there was no shade cover. It's just in the middle of nowhere.
Relentless sun.
And right like when I went to bed, it's like someone's literally outside the van and they're like, I know. And then I puked on my own pillow. And you're just like, what is happening? I don't want to hear it. Like, it's too much.
Why are you right outside?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like 6 a.m. Like,
it's festival,
I haven't even
baby.
gone to bed yet. And I'm like,
I'm still riding the wave.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you on mushrooms too?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, and they probably were. Yeah, so I 100%. Wake up and I'm trying not to be a curmudgeon because I've been to Burning Man and I've loved Burning Man. Yeah. I've had life-changing experiences at festivals. So I'm like, I do like them. Yeah. I'm trying to be like, I'm not old.
I'm fine. I have a van. I'm very cool.
Yeah. And so I'm laying in this hot van,
hot tin van,
yeah. and it's insulated and everything, but yet it's still so hot. And I'm just like drinking Gatorade and I'm
you're in a different like time in your life when you're like just really trying to get my hydration in this festival with my Gatorade and my Cliff Bars
but I've done a lot of work. Like our fridge keeps stuff very cold, so I'm doing good. But I'm having I had a real panic attack, one I haven't had in a long time. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm doing my breathing, my box breathing. I'm doing the whole thing. And then I go outside and I realize I am not better. This is not food poisoning. This is worse. And this is not a hangover. This is I'm still just sick.
Yeah, you're still just sick.
And There are no bathrooms at this festival in the sense of there are porta potties, but there's not like the beautiful bidet that I have at home or anything else. And of course they decided to like put the porta potties like in the sun.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, they're not
hot porta potty.
Yeah. And also like when I wake up, it's like when everyone wakes up. And the guy, I love him. He's a good friend of mine, but he booked 2 porta potty.
That's not enough. 2 porta potties is never enough.
When you're
2 porta potties for 2 people. That's the rule.
So when you're not in control of the situation.
Oh no. And everyone's in line being like, why is this guy taking so long?
No. I'm in line and I'm like, I need to get.
Hey, do you mind if I jump ahead of you because I'm going to die today?
And they're like, what's going on? He didn't even do anything. I saw him. He was just drinking Gatorade.
There should be a diarrhea line for the bathroom. There really should be like
fast pass.
Hey, fast pass, diarrhea. Thank you so much.
So I'm just in there and there's no cell service. There's no anything. So I can't even go on my phone.
You should in a porta potty. You should
Fine,
not.
But I mean, there's no distraction.
Sure, just you and your thoughts.
Yeah, and you're just like,
in a hot porta potty.
Why? Yeah.
Questioning every life decision ever.
Not good.
Not good.
And so then I come out and I will say there were some friends there and they were very nice and like they understand it and they understood I was like anxious going through it and anxious and not feeling good. And so like
I think that is part of the beautiful part of like a bit of the comedy community is that like a lot of the good ones. I will always say the good ones because there's a lot of trash heaps in every industry, but especially in that one. But like the good ones all kind of
the good are so good.
The good are so good. And they all kind of come from like a mental health place because
100%.
Why else do we make people laugh if we're not trying to get through our own shit?
Literally like Kristen and my friend Kristen and Dax, they're amazing. Yeah. And I'm telling them how I'm not only having this panic attack, but not feeling very good and whatever. And then Dax is like, oh, hey, man, I've never hiked over to that hill. Should we hike to the hill? And I'm like, Dax, I told you I'm having a panic attack. And he's like, yeah, that's why I said we should hike to the hill to change. And I'm like, let me put a hat on.
Actually, I'm going to put some good shoes on. And you're right. I need to get out of myself.
And we did. And we hiked and it was great. And so I was taken very good care of by my friends. But the difference is, you know, they're all starting to like, we're going to do the mushrooms now. And they're like, Del, what do you think? And I'm like, no.
I'm already in hell. I don't want to go there.
Yeah. He said there'd be shade, but it's just a tarp directly under the sun. And I think there's a magnifying glass in the middle because I'm on fire. Yeah.
I can imagine nothing worse than like doing that journey sick. I remember that one time I got food poisoning while camping.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally had to hurl into a porta potty. So that's something I don't wish on my darkest enemies.
That's where I was at. And there was no way out. There was no air conditioning. There was I couldn't even, because Gus, our van is trusty, but it's not like, it's not a Honda Civic. Like I can't just leave. Yeah. You know, especially if it's 100 degrees. Like the van could overheat or something.
Yeah. And then the journey of like overheating van.
And there's no air conditioning in the van. Yeah. So I might overheat. And so I'm just like literally just like, this is cheesy. The end of my good old friend.
Meanwhile, it's like
Yeah. And I'm just like, so I woke up, it was like 100 degrees at like
9 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And so and I'm going on at 7:30 p.m. So I have to figure out how to get to that. Like how to make it work. It was treacherous, it was hard, and as I was saying, like last year was really big. I don't know why this year wasn't as big. So it's not like there were a lot of people there.
Sure.
And it was like a lot of weird energies. Like there were these young kids that were excited to be there. They're like festival kids. And then there were like these old curmudgeon people, and I just like couldn't talk. I'm just like walking around trying to just like, I'm just pacing, doing that thing where you're like just counting things, like just trying to keep my mind going. Like I'm like,
But all of it was because you were sick.
No, obviously. Of course. And the anxiety is coming from the sickness, and you have nowhere. Yeah. And sometimes it's like you just want to be alone.
Or like if I'm sick, I don't want to be anywhere but my place.
Exactly.
Like, I want to be like, and also even like people I love, like people I love dearly. I'm like, whenever you're like, can I help you? I'm like, you can't. Like, I would actually prefer for you just to leave me alone.
Everyone kept trying to help.
I know. Like, and you want to just be like, the best thing you can do is like, go away forever. I love you so much.
And there were no food or anything, so we all had to bring our own.
Yeah.
I like literally didn't do a good job. I like packed Cliff Bars and ramen, which no one is going to eat hot soup.
I made you a sandwich.
No, that saved me, but I had to ration the sandwich. Yeah. And the audience was so weird. Like there was one guy who he's that guy that's probably like 2 or 3 years older than me. I don't know what he thought this was.
But he didn't know it was a camping festival.
He didn't know anything.
And he didn't know that like the music was going to go on.
He didn't know any of it. So he brought his dog with him, and the dog was like 10,000 years old and did not want to be there. And he is wearing like a misfitting shirt that's too tight, too loose of pants.
Sure.
And he's going up there and he's doing kind of like pervy jokes. Like
sure.
You're like, this is not hitting.
Vibe.
Yeah. Maybe go to the Ren Fair.
Yeah, the Ren Fair had a bunch of those guys.
Do the open mic at the Ren Fair.
Yeah.
But it's just like bad kind of toxic-y humor.
Yeah.
Really weird. But he's also like hanging out in the main area. So he's constantly like razzing
the
everyone.
Buzz killer?
Yeah. And so it's just like, okay, so you got that guy. But then you got the girls that just turned 21 and they're very excited to do comedy and be at this comedy festival because they still think they're in like theater camp.
Yeah.
Like they literally kept saying. And so they're
weird.
playing games and they're painting each other's faces.
They
put glitter on my arms.
Good for you.
Which I learned a new trick. If you put hair gel with the glitter, it keeps it in the. That's what they taught me. They did. Yeah. So I was
Look
like,
at you
okay,
coming
cool.
in with the hot tips.
Yeah, I was like, I've been to festivals.
Yeah, I get hair glitter gel.
Well, because I wanted to do the beard, and I'm like, we'll do the arms.
Please don't make me.
Listen, I'm gonna be puking later, so I don't.
Could you imagine just the journey of you like hammer slammed hot as hell with a glittered beard in our van?
Please,
and they're like, cop pulls you over.
And I did realize, I'm like,
listen, officer.
Yeah, I was like, I have to sleep in my van, and there's no shower in between.
You're not getting glitter on our van. Glitter is the herpes of the universe. It's everywhere. It's just gonna take. No, glitters can't.
And they were very nice, and it was very funny though, because this event was fun, but it was a little not planned as
you
good.
You said
as,
it was like feral.
It was like,
a bit wild.
Like a fire fest, if you will.
Okay. Okay.
Not really, but I mean, like, so these girls read the rules. They're super type A. They were very prepared, but they brought all this food because in the like whatever it said that they were going to provide ways to cook food if you brought
like
food.
Camp stoves.
Yeah, but they just like didn't get to it.
Okay. It's a big one.
So it's like dinner time, and there's nowhere else to get food.
Yeah.
And these girls like, hi.
You're again in the middle of the desert. Yeah.
And these girls like, hi. So like, how do we cook this food? Like, does anyone know? Like, we're really hungry, and like, I'm not gonna just eat a raw sausage. Like, I do want to eat. Like, they're being very polite about it. And so I check in, and no one. They're like, "Oh, we didn't set that up."
That's gonna be a no. That's gonna be a hard no.
Yeah. So I'm like, "Oh man," and I'm like feeling okay enough at this point. I'm like, "All right, I got a camp stove. Here it is." And they're like, "What is this?" Like they thought it was from the Renaissance. Like they had never seen a camp stove, you know. So I set them up. When you're 35, 21 doesn't seem that long ago, but when you're 21, 35 is
so long in the future.
Old.
Yeah, you're like, wow, good for you. I hope you have your entire life figured out.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, not that old, but then you realize that's more than half of their life.
100%.
Yeah, and so you're like, crap. But anyway, so I set them up with this camp stove, and they're like, I show them how to use, and I'm like, I want to give them a good time. I don't want to ruin their festival. Like my festival's ruined. Yeah. They can have a good one.
Yeah.
So I give them the camp stove. I give them like a glove to hold it. I give them some cast iron skillets. Like I do the whole thing.
You set them up.
Yeah. I give them the propane. I do the whole thing. And it's funny because I show them, I'm like, this is how, have you ever seen a camp stove before? And they're like, no, I've never seen one. And I was like, this is how you do it. You turn it on and you light it like this. You
taught them something. You empowered them.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my God, just like my Gram stove or something like that. And I'm like, sure. Yeah, like whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be the weird guy, the weird dog guy who's just complaining, because he was complaining about everything. He had notes and whatever. I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the cool dad. You want to be a
cool guy with the with the van and like all the things. Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
So I give them the thing, and I'm like, I'm gonna let you guys do your thing, and I'm gonna come back and check on you guys. You know, and then they're like, cool. And I'm like, and if I don't check on you, just put this
guy is fully. You are absolutely the like Boy Scout leader.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I don't. But I'm trying to like now that I'm at that age, I'm like, I want to be the cool one. I've you know.
You don't want to be like, hey, everyone put your safety goggles on.
I don't need to be a part of their experience.
Sure.
Just by providing it and being there,
That's enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember that guy that really helped us out?
Yeah, because there's definitely a lot of creepers at any of these things. That let me help you out. Let me.
Hey, sweetie, where's your tent?
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not that guy. So I literally give them it and I leave and I'm talking to my friends outside. And like we're having a conversation, and in my head, all I'm I didn't realize this, but I just like became like the helicopter dad. And I was like, well, I wonder if
I gotta check on him.
I wonder if the girls
stoves can be hard.
Yeah, I wonder if they figured it out. You know, and they're like very smart, capable. And so I kind of pop my head in, and I see that they got it, and I'm like, oh man. And then in my head, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you, helicopter dad? Yeah. So I go back to my friends and I'm like, I'm going to see if maybe they ran out of propane. Yeah. So like I kind of walk in there pretending like I forgot something or, you know, and then she looks at me and she's like, okay, dad, we got it or something. So like she totally picked up on it.
You were like,
and I was like, you got me, girls, you know,
just
or whatever.
Want to check and see if everyone's having a good
time. Yeah.
And bring any drinks or
like
juices?
They were very nice and I was very nice and we did it good. And like they're like, you saved our night. And it was very funny, but it was just so funny because I was like, I didn't realize like that
you've become that.
Yeah. And they're like, you saved our festival. And
you become man with a camp stove.
Yeah.
So at least there's that element.
Yeah. And they're like telling everyone about how I gave them this camp stuff. And then they wanted to give me beer because like in exchange and how did and I didn't want to tell them like I've been to the porta potty 46 times today. I'm not having any beers.
You should just absolutely ruin any illusion they had by being like, I'm sorry, I don't want to take your beers because I'm having a bit of a bowel trouble.
Yeah. When you get a little older.
Oh man. Things change, girls. Things change.
They were offering me some of the food they made and I'm like, I can't. Listen, I'm a boiled chicken diet. Like very bland. Yeah. So anyways,
sausage is a bit thick.
It was just crazy. It was like I had a few moments where I'm like, I'm gonna die. Like, and I really haven't been even the worst of the worst. When I was at Burning Man and I've had some bad trips or I've been sick or whatever, I'm fine. But it was the first time when I was like, I'm not okay. Yeah. So I do my second set. And it goes fine. And then everyone's about to get like, we're going to go to the moon and we're going to do some drugs or whatever. Sure. And it's 10:30 at night. Our van is like trustworthy, but not the most trustworthy. I am dying still. And so I'm like, I'm out of here. So I say my goodbyes. I get out. I beeline it home. I tell you I'm going home just in case I don't make it. This is what it is.
Oof, God.
Make it down this treacherous mountainside, make it down, get home, literally like I'm dying. I walk inside, I take a shower at 1 a.m. just because I'm covered in glitter and dust.
Glitter and dust.
And then
should be the name of the festival. You should let them know.
I will let them know.
Yeah.
And I pass out in the bed and thankfully I slept. And I slept so good.
You slept so long.
I woke up when I would wake up and then I went back to bed and then it was there were crazy dreams. It was all over the map, but I made it out.
I love it.
And I'm happy I went. I will go again if I feel 100%. I won't go again if I feel anything less. If it's 99%, like I'm not
Sorry,
going.
I can't go.
Yeah. Like I have to be like, bro, I just
Actually, no, I'm on top of the world. I'm the best I've ever been in years.
Because last year I went and I was great. I had a great time.
Sure.
Well.
Look,
that was an insane episode, probably because I forgot to format the card, and I'm coming off of an illness where I was dying in a porta potty in the hot sun. Please, yes.
And I just want you to go with your gut. Yeah. Okay. You don't need to answer anything else other than your initial gut.
Okay.
What state could we get rid of and no one would notice?
Oh shit! I thought you were gonna say like, and everyone would be happy, and no one would notice. A state we could get rid of and no one would notice. Yeah. Delaware, obviously, no one even knows that's a state.
I forgot it was.
But that's one of the first ones.
Thank you so much for watching Favorite Cheese, everybody. What state would you get rid of if you could and you think no one would notice?
But I like Delaware, though. I do want to say that. I'm just saying you could get rid of it and no one would know, but I do like it.
Way to cover your ass on the Delaware front.
Yeah, but we can all get rid of.
You're gonna be so mad when Delawareites come for you and they're like, "Hey, fuck you, buddy."
Right, I'm gonna rephrase. We can. I was gonna say North Dakota, but we can't get rid of them because they decided to do this north-south thing. So it's like, well, what's South Dakota all about?
Yeah,
like,
what is?
why,
you're right.
Yeah,
we can't go to North Dakota because then there can't just be a South Dakota.
Yeah, exactly. So. Sorry, Delaware, but you guys will understand because you're cool.
Yeah.
And you say bag instead of bag, and you say dragon instead of dragon.
I didn't know that. We can absolutely get rid of Delaware.
Bye-bye. To the first state ever. That's why. We got better and better and better.
Did you know they say bag? Bye. I'm just kidding. I love you, Delaware, too.
What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say like no one would notice. Everyone would notice if we got rid of Florida. Like everyone.
I know. That's why that was like my instinct. I'm like, let's get rid of Florida.
Everyone would notice, and then even something smaller like Rhode Island. Because
they're so loud, everyone would know about Florida.
Would know. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
I want to say like Ohio.
No, but that's a big one.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Cincinnati. Man, I have to be honest. I probably would get rid of like South Dakota.
No, South Dakota is better than
North Dakota. You think so?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I
can decide what I want to get rid of.
No, you're right.
I also am probably kind of pro Delaware. I'm sorry, Delaware.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna get Wisconsin. Can't. Jeez.
No. Yeah.
Can't do it. Idaho. Beautiful. Stunning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Washington. Great.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Arkansas can go.
See ya. Bye, Arkansas. You're out.
We love you.
We love you so much. Stay cozy.